let's take a look at a small wireless mic that video creators like you might find useful. Hi, and welcome to the Gadget Talk channel, where we do reviews and how-tos on a variety of cool gadgets, including radio-related products, action cams, and, as in this video, video accessories and tools. If you haven't already subscribed, I hope you will. Maono branded microphones are available on Amazon, other online retailers, and the Maono website. They have a large selection of mics for a variety of situations. Their marketing team saw a review on my channel of a similar product and offered me a pre-release version of the Maono WM820 2.4 wireless mic system, and of course I said yes. That being said, they asked for no consideration other than honest feedback, and they have no approval authority over this video. It's my honest opinion. With that out of the way, here's what I'm going to do. First, we'll take a look at the mic and how it works. Next, we'll do some interior and exterior recording so that you can hear what it sounds like. And last, I'll give those of you who are new to this technology a brief explanation of how 2.4 gigahertz systems differ from UHF systems and why you might choose one over the other. So here's the box that the Maono WM820 comes in. Let's take a look at what's inside. The first thing on the top is an instruction guide. It's got the name of the product on it, picture of it here on the back. And then inside there's just some pictographs that show how to work the device. It's really pretty simple to use, and so the instructions are pretty simple. Plus a diagram of what all the buttons do. It also comes with two charging cables, one for each the transmitter and the receiver. These are USB cables. The white insert indicates this is a 2.0 USB, and it's got a USB-C cable end on the other side. And these are both identical. There are two connecting cables that come with the set, one for cameras and recorders and the other for smartphones. This is the connector for cameras and recorders. You see it's got two 90-degree elbow joints on it, and they have tip ring sleeve connectors. So the signal coming out of the camera is picked up by a tip ring sleeve plug on this end, and then going into your camera or your digital recorder is also a tip ring sleeve device, and it's labeled as camera with this little tag. This one is a little bit longer, and it's got a straight plug on one side and an elbow plug on the other. This is the side that goes into the receiver, and it's got a tip ring sleeve connector as well. And then on this side, it's got a tip ring sleeve connector, which is what is used in smartphones. Since smartphones have left and right audio plus a microphone, it needs that extra contact point. This particular wire is wired in such a way that this single output can be wired so that the smartphone senses the audio going into the smartphone device itself. So this is for the smartphone. The next thing that comes in the kit is this little envelope, and it's pretty handy. It's got a little Velcro closure, and it'll help you keep track of your wires. So the wires will all fit into this, but the transmitter and receiver will not. So that's something to keep in mind. So here is the receiver. As you can see, I've got the white version of the product. It also comes in black. On the top, you'll note that it's the receiver because it has the output plug for one of the two cables that I just showed you. And then here, this 3.5 millimeter plug is for a set of headphones or earbuds. Right here, there are two little LED outputs right there, and they will give you the battery status in one and the pairing status on the other. White against white is kind of hard to see. Not sure you'll be able to see it, but they're there, and when they're illuminated, they're pretty easy to see. On this side, you can see that there are three buttons. The top button is the on-off button. A long press on that button will turn the device on, and then the battery light will illuminate. Here is plus and minus for volume control. You can manage volume control with your headset plugged in here, but more accurately probably want to manage it by monitoring your recorder or your camera, because it's the last item in the chain that you're going to want to be monitoring. And so you can add or subtract volume from the microphone, and then use the controls on your camera between the two to fine-tune it. And then there's this little chain icon right there, which leads me to believe that pressing both the plus and minus at the same time will also initiate pairing. On the bottom of the device is the 5-volt USB-C input for charging. And then on the back of the device is just a little clip for you to mount this. Now, this little clip has the same width as a typical hot shoe device on a camera. And so on my Nikon D5600, it fits in there nice and snug, and I can mount it on top of the camera. With my Sony Handycam, the hot shoe is recessed a little into the camera, and so this won't fit, in which cases I just clip this onto the strap of the camera. The wire's plenty long to make it to the microphone input in the camera itself. So that's the receiver. Now, the transmitter looks just like the receiver. It has a couple of inputs at the top. One of them is a 3.5 input for an external lavalier mic. It's labeled with that microphone's icon. And then here are those same two little LED outputs, one for battery and one for the pairing status. And then you can see that I have this little white furry wind cover that comes with a little snap on it that fits over the microphone input for this device. And most of the time I find some kind of covering over the mic is important to avoid wind and other spurious noises coming in the mic. And so rather than risk damaging those little clips on this furry mic cover, I just snapped it in and intend to use it all the time. You never know when you're going to run into some wind, and you wouldn't want to have to figure out how to replace the wind cover if you broke those little clips. So it fits in there snug, and as we'll hear soon, it does work very well in the wind. On this side, again, there are 3 buttons. A long press on the top button will turn the device on. The little battery indicator will illuminate. The middle button mutes the transmitter so you don't end up with one of those embarrassing Lav Mic problems, or just saving a little bit of battery power. And then the button at the lower end here is the pair button. So you press the pairing button, and then with both of the transmitter and the receiver turned on, they will begin and complete the pairing process, which is what connects 2.4 gigahertz devices. Again, on the bottom, there's a 5-volt USB-C input for charging the battery that's included inside this device. And then on the back, there's a similar clip that you can clip this to a pocket if you are using an external microphone, but more likely you're going to be clipping this to the placket of your shirt or to the zipper edge of a jacket if it's one of those cool days and you're out recording. And so that works very well. You'll see that here in just a minute. So that's what comes in the kit. Let's take a look at how it sounds. So now let's do some recording using the Maono mic. First, I'll do some recording here in this room, and then we'll take it outside for some more tests, including a range test. Besides adjusting the gain on the mic system and in the camera to get a reasonable input, I'll do no post-processing to the audio samples. So here's a little audio test in my studio using the WM820. I'm not going to do any post-processing on this, so you can hear what it sounds like. I did some adjustments on the camera. Otherwise, it's picking up just ambient noise in the room. You'll be able to hear the difference with this mic with some post-processing in the closing segment. Okay, this is an audio sample. This is take 2, in that I had the gain set pretty high on the receiver, and it gave a lot of hiss in it. So I've reset the camera audio settings, drove down the volume coming out of the receiver that goes into the camera, in hopes that this provides us a better quality background sound than the previous one. A little less sensitivity sometimes is what you need to make sure that the sound is what you want. Now, I'm facing into the sun. Hopefully I'm not too washed out because of that. And there's 3 or 4 miles an hour breeze coming right at me, so it'll be a chance to see if this fuzzy little wind cover makes a big difference or not. Hopefully it will. So this is the sound here from about 10 feet away. I'm going to move back to about 50 feet and we'll see what it sounds like back there. So this is about 50 feet away from the camera. I'm obviously facing the camera. The microphone is here on the front of my shirt. And so this is the test from about 50 feet. Let's move back to about 100 feet. So now I'm back at about 100 feet. Range check, 1, 2, 3, test, test, test. Again, a little bit of a breeze at 100 feet. Now I'm going to turn around and talk a little bit as I move toward 150 feet, which is the outside range of this little device as it's published. And I'm going to expect to hear some dropout, especially when I have my back to you, since the signals are going to be attenuated by having to pass through my body. So let's move back to 150 feet. And so right here, we're at about 150 feet. And this is what you could expect. I'm facing the camera now. Let me turn around. I'm facing back toward the camera and thinking you can hear me again. I probably dropped out when I turned around. And now I'm just going to walk toward the camera, close the gap, and you can hear how this sounds. So we're walking toward the camera, coming back from 150 feet. We're approaching 100 feet. I've got a really nice little breeze showing at me. It's blowing in. Hopefully this mic is covering that very nicely. About 50 feet here. Again, continuing to come toward the camera. Test, test on this range check. 1, 2, 3. Continuing to move forward about 20 feet. And now we're back to where we started here at 8 to 10 feet. So that's what you can expect both in terms of sound quality and in range here in this beautiful outside setting. So in this clip you can see I have the little transmitter sitting here in my hand, and I've got it connected to a wired Lav mic. So for some of you, having a wired mic that's a little smaller in your shot is going to be what you prefer if you don't want this little contraption hanging on your shirt. So this is what it sounds like with a wired mic connected to the transmitter side of this mic system. And again, I've got a motorcycle that's a couple blocks away. It'll be interesting to see if the microphone and the microphone system picks up that ambient sound. So here it is with the wired mic into the transmitter. So what did you think? Feel free to leave comments below to voice your opinion. For me, I was pretty pleased with the output. I was able to adjust the gain on the mic using the up and down volume buttons to eliminate the hiss. When I looked at the audio levels with the VU meter in my editing software, the practical noise floor was about minus 55 dB. In the upcoming closing remarks, where I did the normal audio post-processing I do on almost all my videos, that practical noise floor was a couple of dB lower. Both are below most people's ability to hear. Let's wrap things up with a bit of an explanation of 2.4 gigahertz mic systems and why you might want to choose one of those versus a UHF system. UHF systems operate in the frequency band of 470 to 698 megahertz and are what I call channelized. By that I mean the receiver and transmitter have to be set to the same channel or frequency to talk to each other. UHF mic sets come with anywhere from a dozen to over 100 channels to choose from. More channels mean more opportunity to choose an interference-free frequency. UHF sets are known for good sound quality and fairly long range. Keep in mind that in the wireless mic category, long range often means advertised distances of about 200 feet. The frequencies in this band are reserved for these types of devices. 2.4 GHz mic work a bit differently. They operate in a small slice of the 2.4 GHz band from 2.4 GHz to 2.483 GHz. Instead of setting channels as you do with UHF sets, you pair 2.4 GHz devices. That's done by pressing a button. During the pairing process, the receiver senses an open frequency and tells the transmitter to use that frequency. Interference is avoided, at least theoretically, by other devices sensing the used frequency and not using it. The short range of both types of devices also reduces the chance for interference from other devices. As a matter of physics, 2.4 GHz signals don't travel as far as signals at UHF frequencies. As a practical matter, the range difference is trivial and most users operate well within the published range anyway. The big difference between wireless systems using 2.4 GHz and the UHF bands is ease of use. You won't have to select a channel and listen in to see if it's being interfered with. You also won't have to double check to make sure both receiver and transmitter are on the same channel. With a 2.4 device, you simply pair the two components and set the audio volume and you're good to go. So let's wrap this up with a couple of closing comments about this Maono WM820 wireless mic set. Again, I'd like to thank Maono for providing the device. I'm using the Maono mic system in this portion of the video, and I've applied the normal post-processing adjustments I normally do to my videos. I use Audacity for audio adjustments. Let's start with what I don't like. Most of these things are trivial and perhaps even personal. These square little mics clipped to shirts and jackets are quite common now. Nearly all the major brands have a wireless mic in this form factor. I wish this set came with a wired Lav mic, however. For those beginners who don't have several Lav mics laying around, that would be a nice touch. There are times when a more discreet mic is desirable. Next, the kit comes with a small envelope for the wires and connectors. The receiver and transmitter don't fit though. Another nice touch would be to include a small case to protect the devices. I ordered a small case from Amazon as I'm always afraid these things getting broken in my backpack or in my kit bag. At the retail price points, these two devices will add about $30 to the overall cost. The case especially is worth it though. Now for what I do like, and there's a bunch. First is the overall quality of the devices and their sound quality. You should have heard the sound for yourselves, and it's pretty good for a product at this price point. I also found the range to be good. As you saw in the demo, when keeping your body from getting between the transmitter and the receiver, the range was very close to what was advertised. Since most producers won't be using this at those extended ranges, range shouldn't be an issue. I also like the ease of pairing to get the devices talking to each other. There is a few extra minutes of setup time with my UHF mic sets to set and monitor frequencies to ensure there isn't any interference. Battery life is also close to what was stated in the instructions. I used these for about an hour and then just left them on to see when the batteries died. All total, the low battery LED started flashing at about 5 hours. Both UHF and 2.4 mic sets need to be adjusted with your camera or recorder to achieve proper levels. I found this quick and easy to do. Don't forget to bring earbuds or headphones to monitor the sound from the camera or recorder. Since you're adjusting both the mic and the camera, be sure to monitor the last device in the chain. Overall, the Maono WM820 wireless mic set does what it says it will do and is a solid choice for those looking for a small form factor wireless mic in this price range. Hey, if you found this video helpful, please click on the thumbs up icon below the video and subscribe to the Gadget Talk channel. Click the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. Thanks for watching.